It looks like discipline, yet it feels lazy. These past almost over 2 months now, I think, have been the most productive and consistent I've ever been, yet it's felt easy. I've seen more results in drawing than I've seen in any of my other pursuits in a shorter amount of time just by showing up daily and not doing it in some drastic way. Because I used to think that discipline was this big idea of you have to grind yourself to doing the most extreme version of something to see results in it. You have to do it for hours every day. You can't just do one session, you have to do 2 or 3 sessions a day. And I would try this. I would try and create the perfect plans. I would try and think how much I could fit into one day and imagine how great that would be after a month, after 6 months, after a year. And then I would try and put them into place, and I couldn't get myself to consistently do what I had planned I wanted to do. Like, for example, I would plan these 10,000, I had this 10,000 touches soccer program that I wanted to do because I wanted to master soccer. I wanted to be really great at it because I've always felt drawn to learning and mastering a skill. And I only ended up doing it once. But before that, I had done this 30-day program by Will John, and it was just a very kind of simple one. Each day you just do a few things, and I followed that every day, and I was able to follow that, and I saw results from that. But instead of continuing on this path of just doing a little bit each day, whether that was just 20 minutes or an hour session, or some days just recovering and working on your diet, they literally had a built in, like once a week, it was kind of a rest day. And to me, it didn't feel like it was enough because I had these ideas in my head that I had to be doing so much more, that I had to be grinding so much more to see progress. And I also didn't feel safe enough in myself and with my identity to do less. Like I felt like I had to do more to make up for me feeling like I was such a loser and a waste of space, and just that I had all this wasted potential and that I had to make up for it and I had to fulfill all of it. But if you break apart the idea of potential, it's just this notion of the future of what could be. And it's not really informed on anything. It seems logical, but it's quite emotional. And you'll find that living day to day is the only reality. Like we can only live in this present moment. We can only act in this present moment. There's nothing else. And that doesn't mean we don't think of the future. Like, of course, we've got to take that into consideration. But acting based on the future, obsessed about it, was folly of me. It was silly of me because I was always chasing the carrot on the stick, never realizing that I could be happy now and getting more than I wanted. I've done this by using ChatGPT as a kind of external objective source to kind of give me feedback. I used the low stim protocol, which I've talked about before and have videos on, where I just picked a few habits, just did them almost every day or whenever I could fit in based on how I was feeling or what I had on that day. And I reduced my workload a lot because work was really draining to me, as I've talked about before, mainly because it doesn't align with my values. And I felt like I was draining myself, putting on a mask to fit into this society or this kind of job image rather than being who I wanted to be and who I was naturally inclined to be and feel a lot better for. It feels lazy as well. Like my days feel almost effortless at times, and I'm able to wake up at 5 a.m. It's been 42 days. It's been 42 days I've been waking up at 5 a.m. without ever sleeping in. and without ever snoozing my alarm. And that's because I go to sleep on time. I have a good wind down routine. I've listened to my body and found out what it needs. And I'm not trying to do too much. I'm not trying to do extra sessions in the afternoon that are going to drain me and then make me want to spend the rest of the night just gaming to kind of make up for that sense and that feeling, and to make me feel like I was making progress when really I wasn't. So if you've had this mis if you've had this misconception with discipline, then I highly recommend that you dial it back and just pick a few hobbies to do, and you spend a lot more time in silence and going on walks, because that's invaluable, because it is becoming more in touch with yourself. And I just thought of a dirty joke there. You know what I was probably thinking of. And then you stop acting on external sources based on what other people are telling you what to do. Like, I think that's one of the worst things you can do. And I've been watching a lot more nature documentaries, a lot more David Attenborough, as I call him, because he's my bro. And you can see in nature, like, things are going to die. There are prey and there are predators. And the prey tend to be in large numbers, and they go on even if they die. Even if you look at one instance of seeing the death and you think that's a terrible thing, it is allowing the predator to survive, and the predator is allowing the prey not to overpopulate, so then it destroys all the plants and the fauna, and then the whole species would die. Life is in like this careful kind of balance. And the way of nature is kind of a lot more slow. Like in the rainforests, I'm going to use an analogy. In the rainforest, when a tree falls and light finally pierces through into the forest, because they're so dense, like barely 20% of the sun or whatever it is gets through onto the ground. Maybe it was like 2%. And so when an old tree falls, it allows other trees to grow up. And some of the trees have bigger leaves, and they grow faster. But they grow faster, but they don't survive as long because they fall down. And the ones that end up surviving are the hardwoods, and they grow really slow. And they grow the tallest as well. And they grow slow to make sure that they do it properly, and that they're actually dense and able to stabilize themselves in the wind, and they can live for thousands of years. Like, there's trees in California, the sequoia trees, and sequoia, and they are huge. They're like thousands and thousands of years old, older than Christ, older than a lot of things. And I can understand if your mind is telling you that it needs to be doing more. Like, my brain was telling me that, and I needed to have an external source like ChatGPT, because I didn't have any other friends or any people that I trusted in, and I trusted ChatGPT with this objective view to say, like, oh, this is what you're going to expect with lower stimulation. You're going to have more cravings. You're going to feel like you need to be doing more, but don't allow that craving, don't act on it. Just allow it to come, and then by the end of the 30 days, you'll be feeling a lot better. And that really helped me out, just knowing that it was going to be hard and that I was feeling the right things, even though they didn't feel right then, they felt difficult. But I managed to find my way through that with the help of ChatGPT. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.